Hey Emily, just recording a quick video, or I mean, it's really just more audio, but I just thought YouTube was like the best way to do this, or Hangouts on Air was the best way to record this. I just wanted to essentially run through what it is, that I'd wanted to have in the LinkedIn post for the foundation blog. So you can see here on the screen, I've got the outline that I've already sent to you. And so I'm pretty much just going to run through and go like point by point and just talk about all the different things. Afterwards, just let me know if you have any questions or if you need help filling out anything else like in here. So how ZenMaid used LinkedIn groups to, let's say to double their new business. That might be a good one, and it's pretty close to true. So in terms of results, one of the things that being active on LinkedIn did for ZenMaid when we were first starting out is it got the attention of one of the consultants in the industry who reached out to us. It was a good timing thing that she had just dropped her software vendor that she was previously recommending, I guess, that she just wasn't happy with them anymore and didn't think that they were like the best solution out there. She took a look at ours, and that directly led to about probably about half of our first 50 customers, I would say, were either like referrals from her or just having her as like a champion was a really big thing, right? They may have found us another way, but we mentioned her, and it helped us with the sales process. So that was pretty cool. We also drive quite a few of our leads. I'd say probably upwards of 30% of our leads currently are coming through LinkedIn, and that's through a variety of ways that obviously we're going to talk about in this post. Let's see. Increase free trials, LinkedIn traffic. Yeah, so for the third point here, I'm not sure what the exact percentage is, but there's definitely been an increase in free trials since we started focusing on LinkedIn. It's also more likely to convert than, I would say, probably Capterra or Google AdWords. That's in large part because we generate a ton of social proof on LinkedIn. That people that are hearing about us there tend to be hearing about us from other maid services on there that are already using us or have checked us out, and all of that stuff. And so therefore we definitely do see higher rates there. The people also tend to be easier to work with. They know more about us. They know why they're looking at us, all of that stuff. So why LinkedIn groups? So LinkedIn groups, or just LinkedIn in general, we've found is a place that our competitors are not really that active. The only one that we know of that is sort of active on there, they don't even have a software yet, that they're still building it up, and they're trying to find beta users and stuff like that. So we're well ahead of them, but none of our primary competition seems to be active on there really at all. So that's one of the big reasons that we focus on LinkedIn groups. For why LinkedIn groups over Facebook groups, I think Facebook groups are great, but at the same time, a lot of people that are on there are not going to be, looking to buy per se. Whereas with LinkedIn, it's very much people are on there to do business, right? And they expect to be seeing products and to be finding things that are going to help their business. So they just tend to be more open to these sort of things. There's also a really big reason there is, so if I post something on a Facebook group and I add value to someone in one of the maid service groups on Facebook, they post a question and I come in and I give them a really good answer. If they click on my profile and look at my Facebook profile, it may take them a while to figure out who I am, what I do, all of that stuff. One of the things that I'll talk about a little bit more in just a second, actually, with the profile basics, is that when someone on LinkedIn sees something from me and they click on my profile, the tagline that I have on my profile tells them exactly who I am, exactly what we do to help maid services like them, and it makes it very easy for me to help someone and for them to quickly find their way to our website to take a look at what we're working on. So that's definitely like a big advantage for us on like LinkedIn versus Facebook. So for your profile with the basics, I think that with that, it's gonna depend on what you're trying to like to achieve. That Stacy here has a question that a lot of people ask is, my LinkedIn profile shows my full-time gig. That's okay. Obviously, it's going to be better if it doesn't, or if you have something on there that's going to tell people what you're working on or why like you'd be reaching out to them on LinkedIn. That's definitely going to be helpful. It's not necessary though. I mean, if you're helpful and you add value for people, they're going to figure out, who you are, what you're doing, all of that. But of course, the less effort you can make it for them, the better you're going to convert. So if possible, you can use the tagline. So we should probably take a screenshot of my tagline on LinkedIn, which off the top of my head is CEO@zenmaid.com software. And then I think it says business specialist or something along like those lines. And so we should probably, take a screenshot and include that in the article. I haven't had any issues with joining groups. I mean, like I didn't always have it on LinkedIn, and I didn't have any problems joining groups before I had that. At least for us with maid service owners, a lot of them may not even have that on there if they still work like a full-time gig. Like I know one person off the top of my head is like a regional manager for Nissan, and so like I don't think there's anything mentioned on his LinkedIn profile about the maid service that he's like starting up, and he's still in like all these groups with me, and like that's actually how we connected was through the groups. So on to the bulk of the article, what's going to really be, I guess, like the hard hitting sort of value add. So what Stacy has here is like the action plan. So essentially our strategy for LinkedIn is a 3-part strategy. And so the first part is going to be LinkedIn groups. That the very first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get active on LinkedIn groups and begin to talk to people that are your potential customers. So the first thing you would need to do is you would need to go on and find different groups that your customers are a part of. So that could be industry associations. That for ZenMaid, we're part of like the ARCSI group. There's a couple publications that have groups on LinkedIn. A Cleaning Business Today, the Home Guru Cleaning magazine, for example. And so for us at ZenMaid, we have 15 different LinkedIn groups that we are a part of. So what you can do is you can just search for the groups, like just based on your keywords. One thing that I found was helpful was also when I would connect with someone, I would take a look at their profile, because you can see on the person's LinkedIn profile once you're connected with them what groups they're in. So I'd look at the consultants in the industry and other maid service owners and stuff like that, and I would go through and use that to discover additional groups. Originally we started out, I think I probably found 5 initially, and now we're up to 15. They do vary in size quite a lot. One's like 25, 30,000 people. Then I'm part of some that have like 150 members. What's interesting is that some of the smaller ones are actually more active than the really big ones. The big ones tend to have a lot of spam and like, that sort of stuff. So let's see. Oh, so actually, one thing I just realized, okay, so I guess this article is actually going to be just about the LinkedIn groups, not the entire strategy that we use. So so for that, with the action plan now, I mean, it's still pretty much the same, but I guess the focus will just be on the LinkedIn groups. So I just explained, you know, how you find your niche. So once you have a bunch of groups that you're a part of, then the next step is to get in there and to just help out people as much as you possibly can. So for that, I mean, really what it comes down to is it just comes down to checking the different LinkedIn groups on a regular basis. And when someone asks a question that you know the answer to, you just, you know, get on there and you answer the question for them. One thing that's interesting is that I actually will tend to Google a lot of things that, especially when I was first starting out, people would ask questions that I didn't know the answer to, so I would go out and find the answer. So for someone that may be reading this article that's maybe first getting started and doesn't consider themselves like an expert just yet, or they don't know, you know, why people would want to listen to them or anything like that, just, you know, you can go out and find the answers that you need to. And honestly, most people just want like a good answer, right? They don't care if like you're not running your own maid service or anything like that. When you provide them a solution to a problem that they have proposed, they're going to be really appreciative. So that is a is like a really big thing, right? Is getting active there. And so then as a sort of like a side note there, I actually work with a virtual assistant who helps me to manage that. That going through 15 different LinkedIn groups on like a daily basis or even a weekly basis is not something that's quick to do. So I have a process that I have set up with my virtual assistant where I get an email from her once a week with a spreadsheet that has a summary of all of the activity that's happened in our 15 different LinkedIn groups, you know, in the past week. And so then I can go through and just, you know, she has a link directly to the thread. So if there's something that's interesting that I can help out with, I can just click on that link and open it up. So that makes it really easy, and I actually managed to stay active and adding value for people on these different LinkedIn groups. It usually only takes me 15 to 20 minutes per week to do. So this is something, you know, I wouldn't recommend doing that right from the start, but it is possible to outsource a large portion of the work so that this is not as timely as it might sound at first glance. The other thing is my VA will go through and will highlight anytime a thread pops up in one of the LinkedIn groups that's asking about software. If someone's asking about a software recommendation, then I get notified. And so that is pretty cool because I can jump in there and point them to ZenMaid and explain to them, you know, like why it can help and ask them what they're looking for. The other cool thing that I have there is I have multiple of my customers. I think it's 3 right now that I essentially have on call. And so when a thread pops up on LinkedIn, I send them all a quick email and they'll jump into the thread and recommend ZenMaid, which of course is going to be even better than me saying, hey, this is my software, come check it out. So that's yeah, that's a pretty good way to get people to look at you. I mean, I would say that whenever there's a thread on LinkedIn about software, probably 90% of the time they're at least checking out ZenMaid. I mean, of course, it doesn't mean they're going to sign up or they're going to sign up for a trial even, but they will know who we are, and that's a really big thing, especially as it begins to snowball a little bit. That now, like, I don't even have to ping my customers. A lot of them will see these threads and will comment on them before I even see them. So the other thing that we do, that we use LinkedIn groups for, is we will share content on the LinkedIn group. So I have content that I've created I think we've got 19 or 20 pieces of content, and so every time I create something new, I'll post it to all 15 of these groups, and that will usually get us 200 to 300 people that are coming to our blog and reading some content, or like taking a look at my profile, right, and seeing ZenMaid. So that's definitely a really helpful one. Uh, for that, I have set up in the past where when I really wanted to hit LinkedIn groups hard, I set up with my VA to pretty much post every 4 or 5 days all of our content over like a couple week period. So that got us a little bit of nice attention. And again, I have a process in place there where instead of having to post to all 15 groups, I send my virtual assistant one email with exactly what I want posted. And I've written up the process for her in the past. So I just send her one email with the info that she needs, and she goes through and knows how to post it to all the groups, sends me back a message with links to all the different posts in the different like groups. So that is pretty cool. And that process that we have is actually available on processmarketplace.io. I'll probably write more about that once you've like sort of outlined the article or like written out the article. But let's see. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, I think, for the different groups. One thing that might be funny or might be a good one, I guess, to get people's attention is so the most popular post that I've ever made in the LinkedIn groups was actually a one-line piece of advice, and it was if your employees like it, or if you or your employees are driving company branded vehicles, don't drive like an asshole. And I have like a quick story about that. I guess that was like the main thing, but then the story is just that one of my friends called me after getting cut off in traffic in the San Francisco Bay Area and asked me if a specific maid service was one of my customers. And after, I said no because they weren't. But after I said that, he was like, "Good. I'm never gonna I'm gonna remember these guys, and I'm never gonna book with them because of like this like experience." And I thought that was like really powerful, and so I shared that on LinkedIn, and yeah, it was it got a really good response. It was actually like the most liked and commented on one that I've put up on the different LinkedIn groups. I had multiple moderators actually were like, "Hey, like you're not allowed to cuss, but this is actually really good advice, so we're going to leave it up." And then the last thing for this article is Stacy wants to do a content upgrade. So essentially like a lead magnet. For that, what we are offering on processmarketplace.io is we have a variety of processes around working with a VA to make you more effective with LinkedIn. So we have a free process that's available for posting to all the different LinkedIn groups. And then we have a paid one right now, which is for a VA to post to all of the different LinkedIn groups. So let's see. I think that pretty much summarizes like all of my thoughts on this. Just let me know if you have any questions, if there's anything else that you want to add. I'm wondering if maybe we need like a stronger story at the beginning. Like, let me know if there's something you think would be helpful. I'd be happy to go into more detail about that. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's all for now. Like I said, just let me know if there's any questions that you have from all of this, or what else you would need from me in order to to get like the, I guess, like the right like tonality, make it sound like me, and then also make it look like a sort of like one of the Video Fruit blog posts. So yeah, just drop me an email if there's anything else that you need here. Thanks.